Reborn is a vending machine, perhaps the most quirky and borderline insane isekai we have seen in a long time, and that's saying something. Nonetheless though, can it be worth your time this anime season? Well, let's have a chat and find out. So, Reborn is a vending machine naturally is about a vending machine being reborn in an isekai world, and he now wanders the dungeon. For isekai standards, even this is somewhat out there and a bit bizarre to many people, and just based on the title premise alone, many people will just overlook this and swipe it to the side thinking, this can't be good, right? Or can it be, actually? The first episode I was overall impressed by, being way better than I expected, as I did have very low expectations of this, as many of you probably also did, or still do. But episode 1, I found it to be very entertaining. The sort of wholesome and simple yet cute gimmick of him being a vending machine and having to sell items to survive, I thought was cute. And the budding relationship between him and Lamis, I thought was also just fun enough and chill to watch. What really got me interested though in episode 1, outside of the premise, was that they introduced this point system where he basically has to sell items to get points or currency, which he then has to use to keep himself in operation. He only has so many points, and if he runs out, then he dies, or he ceases to operate, meaning he effectively dies in this world as a vending machine. So the hidden complexities of that system, meaning, okay, how much is he going to charge for merchandise? What is he going to sell? How is he going to, choose what to restock and buy to sell to customers to gain profit? What implications might there be if he ends up, for example, giving away things for free, as we see a good bit of in episode 2, for various reasons? How will that impact the points he has, as he is then, again, not getting anything, of course, for giving these items for free? And how will that impact his survivability and, his own mortality in the long term? Like, the point system in and of itself, I found really interesting. And even though they don't put a big emphasis on it in episode 2, I think there's a lot of potential there to make a really interesting storyline and plotline just around the point system, and him having to be very aware of how many points he has, what he can use those points on, and even if he might have enough points to get an ability or do something to save the day or rescue or protect Lamis, for example, if he does that, what are the implications for his own health and survivability? As, if he is reckless, he might just kill himself. Outside of an interesting concept like the point system, though, the isekai itself, the plotline itself, is fairly interesting. I mean, sure, it isn't super complex as of right now, but it is very enjoyable. And I also like the ingenuity the writer definitely put into making this, let's say, quote-unquote realistic, if I'm even allowed to use the word in this context, where in episode 2 specifically, to fight off a king frog fiend, which is this boss-esque monster, he has to think of a way to actually deal with that, right? To protect himself and Lamis and the injured soldiers in that scene. And he actually uses his brains and uses his vending machine gimmicks to solve the problem. What he ends up doing, of course, is basically giving away all these Coke bottles, these 2-liter Coke bottles for free to Lamis, and then using points to buy a form shift ability to then turn into a candy machine and dispense Mentos, and then basically telling them or trying to communicate to them to use Coke and Mentos to make these, these soda exploding bottle things to spray into the eyes of the king frog fiend to disorient him and to save them until help arrives. I mean, just that section, it's yes, it's ludicrous. Yes, it's just absolutely quirky stupidity and insane and whatever, but it is so much fun and entertaining, and it really shows that the writer really tried to use this ingenuity to make this crazy plotline and story into something semi-believable and entertaining. Because of course, if he would just give this vending machine insane powers from the get-go, even though that might happen based on what we saw in the blessing part in episode 1, as of now, having to use these very unique and innovative ways of solving problems is very enjoyable for me. And the relationship he is slowly developing with Lamis is also fairly well made and done, and I do like the duality between these two main characters. While it isn't going to be the most complex show this season, no, this isn't Mushoku Tensei, it isn't going to be nearly on that level, of course. No one expected it to be. But it is surprisingly decent, surprisingly good for what it is, and surprisingly very entertaining, and a very just nice chill watch where you can really appreciate what they are trying to do with the crazy wacky concept. If you're not into isekai, yes, okay, I understand that this might sound ludicrous to you, this might sound insane to you, but even if you're not the most into isekai like I am, as I am an absolute isekai addict and watch every single isekai no matter how trash, even if you're not the most into isekai, I would still give this a shot and try to see if you like it. Because I think that after watching the first episode, I think many of you will still get a feel for it and start liking it, even if you're not the most brain-dead isekai addict, like myself. Of course, if you're even lightly into isekai or you really enjoy isekai, then I would watch this in a second, because I think it is a very enjoyable, above-average watch this season. Even if you just want some simple sort of, let's say, action-adventure with some quirky characters or plot lines, then yeah, I think this show also has you covered in that respect. There might still be some hidden complexities with this show, as I said, mainly with the point system, for example, or maybe something else I haven't talked about yet, but this can be a surprisingly complex show in that sense if they go more down that route later in the season. But even if they don't, it will be a very chill and comfy watch, an enjoyable watch for me at least. So is this show going to be worth it for the majority of you people here? Again, if you like isekai, watch it. If you are in the middle or lukewarm on isekai, give it a try. I think you might like it, even if the concept is crazy. If you are really against isekai and you really hate isekai and you want it to die a horrible death, then okay, sure, you can skip it. It's fine. I get it. But unless you're a hardline anti-isekai fanatic, then I would give this show a hearty recommendation to at least try episode 1. If you don't like episode 1, then you most likely won't like episode 2 either, and you can probably safely skip it. But just giving it a try, I think the most of you will like it more than you thought you would initially. For me, this is definitely ranking in like the top 3 isekai this season, which doesn't really say much, I suppose, but at least to me it does. So it's definitely above average, and it definitely has its moments. That being said, I hope you enjoyed this Is It Worth Your Time video for Reborn as a vending machine. I now wander the dungeon. If you did enjoy this video or got some value out of it, then please do leave a like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, all that good stuff to support this new and budding channel. I deeply appreciate any support you want to give. Also, if you have any questions further on the anime or anything else, feel free to comment down below and I will do my best to answer any questions you may have. That being said, I hope you have a good day and I will see you in the next Is It Worth Your Time anime video. Have a good day, bye bye.